Welcome, everyone. This is the February 1st, 2021 pre-council meeting for the city of Joliet. Mayor Robert Odekirk presiding.
We'll begin with roll call. Mayor Odekirk.
Here.
Councilwoman Gavin is absent. She did let us know she would not be able to attend this evening. Councilman Hug.
Here.
Councilman Landy.
Here.
Councilman Morris.
Here.
Councilman Mudrin. Councilwoman Coleman.
Here.
Councilwoman Reardon.
Here.
Councilman Turk.
Here.
First on the agenda this evening is citizens to be heard on agenda items. There is no one present this evening. We did not receive any email comments. With no citizens to be heard, we'll pass it to the city manager to discuss tomorrow's agenda items.
Yes, tomorrow's agenda items, one of the, first is position vacancies. We are,
Is the microphone on? Yep, you're on.
there we go. All right, the first agenda item is a positions vacancy, and that's to create a position vacancy for the economic development. It's needed because we have done so much with so little. We have many more projects in the pipeline. We're starting to fall a little bit behind. I believe that the person that is, I'm going to ask to fill this is actually the person that's my office manager. I believe that she'd be really great in that job. So I'm asking that at some point that you recommend her for that. She sits outside my office. She already knows so much of what's going on in the city. She'd really, really be able to hit the ground running and be a tremendous asset to Derek. So that's one of the items right there. The next one is the professional services, which is when we have to reduce the amount of water loss, and that's what this is about. We have to get that to 3% per year, and so we need to be able to move that forward. This is something we talked about earlier in the Thursday. So this is something we need to do to be able to move that forward. The metering equipment, which is 64-21, and that's the Department of Utilities, and for their automatic meter reading system and consumption date. So this is just regular doing business with the meters to make sure that they're operational. We'd ask that you approve that. The 6521, which is the engineering agreement with CSX Transportation for the Hobart Bridge expansion, and that's the engineering portion of that by the city to be able to get them to widen that road so we can start construction on the bridge, which has been so long overdue. So we would recommend that you do that. 6621, again, it's a sewer project, and this is just regular sewer improvement fund through the city, and it's for professional services. So we would recommend that you approve that. 6721, payments for emergency repairs, city-owned building. That's the building next to the ballpark that was damaged in the tornado. We got a bunch of money from the, we got $308,000 from damages, and we got that from the insurance company. 169 will be reinvested in the building for development. So after repairs. So, which needs to be done. That building was, I don't know if you saw the pictures of that, the roof had caved in and several floors. So it's right next to the ballpark.
Jim, on that piece of property, Derek, maybe you could fill it in. I know we've had a couple different potential buyers or people that use the property. Can you give us an update on the status of that?
Good evening. Yes, we have had a couple people interested in developing the building. Unfortunately, we haven't had any luck yet. We were working with a company out of Waukegan earlier this year, and then COVID hit, and then they said that they were no longer interested in this project. I will say, though, that since we've done the repairs to this and we've kind of put this outdoor patio on the back of the third floor, we have actually had some people more interested in the property now. One, the roof, which was failing, that's resolved now. Now you do have this nice patio overlooking the ballpark. So we're confident we're going to be able to find someone to repair this building or put it back into use. I will say it does have a lot of other challenges.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome, Mayor. The next one is 6921, which is settlement regarding a property acquisition on Vetter Road. And that was with Centerpoint. We agreed, Centerpoint agreed, and the city had an agreement that in order for them to move forward, we would assist them if they could not come to an agreement with property owners. So we would eminent domain them. When we eminent domain that property, there was a bill in the amount of $300,000 per parcel. Centerpoint agrees to fully reimburse the city for that. That was part of the agreement. So this just requires city council approval. This is no expenditure of funds whatsoever on our part. Centerpoint is going to reimburse us in its entirety for this expense.
Question.
Yes,
So the land of it's more, you're going to eminent domain them, or we're gonna buy this?
We did eminent, once you go for the, I think what happened here, Councilman, is we eminent domain them, we went into negotiation then because the city was going to eminent domain, and that got the property owners to agree to sell.
Oh,
So
okay.
they sold but they had to sell to the city because it was we had started the proceedings. They sold them to us, and we turned around and then gave that bill to Centerpoint.
Okay.
Centerpoint then gave us the money for the property.
Okay.
But it needs a city, we need a city council to approve that.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. 7121, this is a grant, and this is for the Historic Preservation Commission. And what it does is it allows us to list and catalog all the historic properties in the city of Joliet, so it's in a computer database. This is something that's currently done in other municipalities. It's a grant where we have to pay, 30%, and the granting authority will give us 70% of the money. So the city's cost of this would be $16,800, or actually $7,200 to have all these properties listed, historic properties, so that we can just take a look at those right away, and it'll help the Planning and Economic Development Department here tremendously. So it's bringing us into the new century. So we would ask that you approve that. 7221, this is a sewer repair project. There was no easement between the property owner and the city of Joliet. So no matter how far back they looked, they couldn't find one. Consequently, we agreed with the property owner who needed the sewer to be repaired to enter into that easement so that we could start to repair that sanitary sewer. This sewer, it was so old, it was not listed on any documents in the city's possession, none whatsoever. So we didn't even know it was there until we had issues with it. So we would ask that you also approve that. This is the 7321. It's also similarly circumstances here that we've had to agree to find the easement so that we can repair the sewer lines that are currently running from the house into the city. So again, we'd approve that. 7421, which is the ask for the reimbursement for rent paid on the stadium, the medical group, to pay the medical group stadium. They've asked to be reimbursed at the rate of what the city of Joliet, 6% of the total revenues, which is they paid at the high point. So that would result in a lowering of the amount of money that we would get. So we'd again ask that that the city council approve that so that they can continue on. This is all COVID related. I know that Councilman Hogg had made the point about the PPP reimbursement. I So that's something that we, you might want to consider asking when they get here. So,
Yes,
Do you know, do we have this written in a way that, it would be just for this year? I mean, I see the difference between last year's and what they've
Right.
already paid, but I assume we're looking at this going forward for 2021. Do we have it written so that would be the single year and then again going back to or renegotiating what their lease would be?
no, we do not have it that way. It would be, that's the agreement would be going forward. If that's something certainly you want to look at or table it for further discussions, I mean, certainly, I can see your point here on doing that. But currently, they have been unable to fulfill the stadium as much as they had initially. And so they're asking that they be allowed to just make it 6%, whatever their revenues are, so that that's the amount of money that we share with them. So,
Do we know on their best year what 6% would equate to?
oh, I stand corrected, it's just for 20, go ahead.
Okay.
I'll let Sabrina answer that. She has the
Okay.
agreement.
So-
She has the agreement right in front of her.
I'll clarify that. So they are asking for the 6% of their total revenue for 2020 and 2021. Beginning 2022, it'll revert back to the two payments of $37,500.
Thank you.
Mayor,
yes.
Jim, clarification on 71-21 with the certified local government grant.
Yes,
I did notice that the legislative text refers to it as identified as a potential source. So are we guaranteed the 70%? Are we holding off on this project until we get that guarantee, or would we eat that 70% if we do this project and they say no?
no, we wouldn't go forward with the project unless we got the grant money.
Okay, so when will we know that? Do you know?
I don't know that. I don't know what the status of the grant is. I don't even know if we've begun that. We're looking toward that. If we do put the effort into writing for this grant, that we'd be willing to pay the maximum amount
30%.
of money. So we need to have that authority from you prior to writing the grant.
Okay.
Because we're agreeing to that.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, Councilwoman.
Is, do we have any idea what 30% of what we're talking
Yeah,
about? I'm
yes,
sorry, maybe I
do
missed that.
actually have that number.
Okay.
So,
I think it was $7,200.
yes.
Yeah, it was 16,000 for us, or 8,000 for us, right?
Okay.
Right.
72.
I'm sorry, I
Yes,
missed that.
$8,000 for us.
Okay,
Just a little less.
thank you.
You're welcome. That concludes my remarks.
A couple things, well, one thing, I know we had issues with water main breaks today on the east side. Can you, possibly let our residents know what the status of this is and how long it's gonna take to fix these?
We believe that we'll have the water, one of the water towers, the pipe broke. That affected everyone's water on the east side. We've also had additional individual water mains. I believe we've had 7. Those will be more neighborhood specific. The large water main break, which is in the pumping station, should be up and operational. That should restore most folks' water that are out there right now. That's really it's a kind of a big project and a big deal for that to happen to the lift station. So they're working on that. We should have that done hopefully by tomorrow morning. That should be back online. And then we're continuing to, we have contractors out there now working on the individual water main breaks. In a way, when we talk about water loss and items like that, you can see how this ties together where there may, this may be, in a way, something that we are moving forward on losing our water seepage to begin with. But clearly, we may have to issue a Water Boil Act. I don't believe that that's going to be the case. They're testing the water. We'll keep everyone apprised. I would encourage everyone to sign up for the Everbright system so we can get those messages out to people via text messages. If you haven't signed up, please come to the Joliet webpage. Sign up for those notifications so we can get news out to you. That, this is not something where we're sending out text messages to buy a car or anything like that. These are very specific government messages that are in the public interest to get out to you, information about your government. So please sign up for that. We have very, very little participation in that, and I think only about 6,000 or 7,000 people. But we need to if we can get some folks on that, that'd be great.
Okay.
Mayor?
Yes,
And actually, we had our Public Service Committee meeting at 4:30, and Allison gave an up-to-the-minute update on the water tower portion of it.
okay,
She said that the most recently, they said they should have that main feeding the water tower and starting to refill it by 7 o'clock tonight. But we will have 18 hours once it's filled after that, which is reduced. She said it's usually 24 hours, but Nick Gornick, who's in charge of our plants, has got some fancy smancy licensing where he's allowed to test over 18 hours. So that's what she updated us, I believe. Did I get that correct?
That's correct,
Yeah.
Councilman.
Okay. Right.
Yes, I know that they have the testing now is down to 18 hours.
Yeah, that's nice, isn't it?
Recertified by
Yeah.
the state, so they worked hard to get that, and so we're glad to be able to give that quick turnaround on water quality to folks.
And certainly if anybody has questions about how long the boil is, they can just call City Hall, right?
That's correct. They are we're 600 calls behind, based on the tremendous snowfall and then the water main breaks on top of it. We're doing the best to work through all that. We know that people are struggling here to get that done, so.
and then the other thing, and I know we'll talk probably about more tomorrow, but, happy to announce that the vaccine program began today at Joliet West High School. We had a number of volunteers, most of them Joliet firemen who were volunteering, of course, our very own Councilwoman Quillman was giving out the shots. But, the plan is, for the first week or two, teachers, and then, hopefully in 2 weeks, senior citizens are gonna start getting vaccinated here in Joliet. So it was great news. I know we'll have more details tomorrow, but want to get that out. If, you're eligible and you want the shot, you need to register. Jan, is it the Will County Health Department website?
Yes.
Please register, so you can be vetted and put on the list so we can get you in there. I don't know how many a day they're planning on doing when this gets up and running, but it's gonna be significant. And we talked about a couple weeks ago, it's good to see this is finally happening now.
Well, tomorrow we'll be doing about 200, and when it's up and running, we plan to do 500 to 1,000 a day.
Right. But you have to register, obviously, you can't show up on site. So, we'll talk more about tomorrow, but I did want to put that out there.
Right.
And Mayor, who do they register with? The county or the city?
Will County Health
Health
Department.
Department.
But it's volunteers that we organize doing
It's
this.
a partnership,
Yes,
but we're not involved. Just so people know, not to call City Hall to try to get on
call
the
City
list.
Hall, no, the Will County Health Department website.
And I will say this, that the head of the Illinois Department of Health was on the radio today, Ms. Selenick, and she said they are setting up a call center to handle all the calls, because they get like 1,000 calls a day now, and they can't handle them. So she said they're setting up a call center.
Very good. Do we have closed session tonight?
Yes, we have closed session tonight. I believe that there's a legal issue that needs to be addressed.
First is public comments. There's no one here, and additionally, we did not receive any email comments. So is there a motion to go into closed session to discuss personnel, collective bargaining, land acquisition or conveyance pending or threatened litigation, after which the meeting will be adjourned?
So moved. Second.
Been motioned and seconded to approve. Councilman Hug.
Aye.
Councilman Landy. Councilman Morris.
Aye.
Councilman Mudrin.
Aye.
Councilwoman Coleman.
Aye.
Councilwoman Reardon.
Aye.
Councilman Turk.
Aye.
Motion carried.